What's up, everybody? Dalton Miller here, bringing you my top 5 predictions for the Pittsburgh Pro Open Division. Talking bodybuilding, baby. And this is the first year that the Pittsburgh Pro will have the Open Division, and it is a massive, massive lineup. Now, I would like to shout out Armary214 for the question that is being answered here. And I would also like to point out the date on that is April 21st. I know Ivan came out with his top 5 video. I had the idea in my head. I just didn't get around to getting the video out in time. But without further ado, let's get to the top 5 of the Pittsburgh Pro Open Division, while also shouting out that Terrence Ruffin is going to win the Classic Division. In 6th place, we have to start with the man who is probably in 1st place on Instagram. Nobody looks more insane online than Michael Krizo does. The problem is, once we go and step on stage is where we will see some of, I don't want to say the flaws in his physique, because he does have a freaky physique. But compared to the other guys, when we have seen how judges have looked at the bodybuilding world in open recently, ever since Dorian, really, the back shots are so important. And I feel like with Krizo, the back shots are where we lag, because we know his arms, I mean, you can see it, they are absolutely insane. The other thing is, as insane as he looks on Instagram, I am wondering what he is going to look like on stage with the tan, controlling his midsection after the surgery on his shoulder. And now he seems to have come back from the shoulder surgery and from that injury very, very strong. And it's not like he is lacking in the legs either. His legs look good from the front as well, but he just doesn't quite have the same type of width as some of the other competitors do. And so for me, I know that the arms are insane. The arms are insane. But I think when you look at the entire package, he falls a little bit short of the top 5. In 5th place, I have Good Vito. I think Vito's legs, and this isn't a controversial subject or anything, Vito's legs might be the best of anybody in bodybuilding right now. The detail, the shape that he has in his legs are phenomenal, and the size that he has in his legs. There was the Photoshop of Vito's legs on Nick Walker, and it looked like a 7 or 8 time Olympian champion. That's what Nick Walker looked like with Good Vito's legs. Now, when we saw him at the Arnold Brazil or the Arnold South America, I thought that he came in a little bit lacking detail. Now, that show wasn't very stacked, so he didn't need to come in super sharp, but he is going to need to be absolutely peeled to the bone if he wants to crack the top 5 of this class. And if he wants to beat the number 4 competitor, he's going to have to come in incredibly sharp, because the number 4 competitor has looked outstanding so far since the Olympia last year. One thing I will give to Good Vito is his stage presence is pretty phenomenal. William Bonac won in Detroit, beating Cezanne Haradi, and then Haradi goes on to FIBO and beats Andrew Jacked in prejudging. So let's just get it, and we know that Andrew Jacked was not at 100% for that show, but William Bonac is at the top of his game, if not very close to the best he has ever looked. And while he doesn't quite have the freak factor of Good Vito or Michael, I think his level of detail, as long as he comes in the way that he did at Detroit, I think he's going to take the 4th spot here, and he might even push Marty. I have Martin the Martian Fitzwater finishing in 3rd. And full transparency, Marty might be my favorite open bodybuilder. And I am super interested to see what he is going to, the package that he is going to come out with here. at another 20 pounds, he thinks, of stage weight. And listen, he looked fantastic in Prague, but he is trying to put on a ton of size before the Olympia. And I don't know if he's going to come in as detailed as he did in Prague, even though he will be a little bit bigger. The problem is if he doesn't come in absolutely shredded, even though he has fantastic shape, I think he has some of the best shape in the open division. I don't think that he can match up with the freakiness of Nick Walker. Now, how Nick peaks is going to be incredibly interesting because this is the first time with his new coach. Now, he and Kyle Wilkes have known each other for a long time, but this is the first time they have worked together, and it might not be his best peak.
Going to be heat if something doesn't go correct, sure, but as a coach, I will always put myself in front of the truck that's oncoming. So if I fuck up and you listen to what I said and you did everything I asked, my bad, I fucked up. So you can point the finger at me. When people start asking other people's opinions, they do their own thing, that's when it becomes very catastrophic, you could say. Yeah. So, no, I don't really feel pressure. I understand what comes with the territory. Not to be redundant, but the reality is this is my first time working with Nick. Mm-hmm. It's my first time also having Jared in my corner, right?
Now, I think Nick is going to come in looking like an absolute freak of nature. I think it will be one of his best looks. Don't get me wrong. I think that's why he ends up outshining Martin in this competition as well. It's very clear that Nick has everything to prove right now, and he wants to prove it. And I know that Nick talks a lot, and he is very vocal on social media, but he is doing everything in his power right now to back it up. He is going to put a package together good enough to win this show. Unfortunately, Derek Lunsford exists, and Derek Lunsford exists in a world where he is at probably his best look ever coming off of the Arnold and looking absolutely peeled coming into this show, the Pittsburgh Pro. I think that he is going to leave zero doubts in this show, even though Nick is the bigger freak, even though Nick, if he comes in absolutely crispy, can push Derek. Derek looked outstanding at the Arnold. He went pose to pose with Samson, and he also has everything to prove, not in the Pittsburgh Pro, but this year in general, losing the Mr. Olympia title, finishing not even second, but in third place last year, coming a little bit off, the legs down a little bit. His shape is phenomenal. We know that. He doesn't have the sheer size of the other guys because of his height, but he has the shape, the density, the frame, the conditioning to push these guys. Now, he doesn't get as crispy as Nick, but his flow, his structure, his overall aesthetic is something that I think the judges are really going to enjoy in this competition. That's it. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure that you guys are hitting the subscribe button. If you guys like workout content, make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. And if you like general fitness and nutrition tips that are based on science and common sense, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I love you guys. Thank you for stopping by. Goodbye.